Hi everybody, welcome to KastorCorner.com. I'm your host Khalil here for another toy of the day. And we're continuing our series of beginnings and talking about like what started us off. So we're here for our toy of the day, new merch in the shop below. And we're moving through talking about all the things that kind of had impact and remembering the toys. And some toys are harder to get than others, and it's a little bit of not necessarily quality, but material. And so we're going to focus on these guys tonight, our Silverhawks. But before you do that, make sure to go to KastorCorner.com for a full gallery of these guys, as well as the archive of our past Toy of the Day and Beginnings videos. You can follow us. We are at Kastor's Corner, and go to Apple Podcasts to check out the Cornercast podcast every Monday nights before midnight. So Silverhawks was one of those shows where I liked it because it felt a little bit like Thundercats in space. The toys were really cool. The toys were absolutely just like, I know nowadays we're like, don't do action features, but like these action features were kind of fun. And even though like this buzzsaw and his bird, where is it? Shredder, or shred whatever. Don't match what's coming out. It didn't match the cartoon. The yellow and the green just was like perfect, And he made this, he had the action feature, and the bird had an action feature, and it clipped onto his arm. It just really like captured the imagination. I think it was the colors, and the size, and really the action features. Like, they just kept us coming back for more. And I know nowadays nobody wants action features in their action figures, but back then it was a major selling point for action figures to have some kind of mechanism that kind of moved them forward. Silverhawks was one of the harder lines to track down, and still is. I only have a handful of them, and because they are 100% cost prohibitive to be able to pick them up, and it's because of how they were made. So Super 7 is now doing new versions of these in the Ultimates form, but they are not doing vac metal. The old Silverhawks themselves, not the villains, but the Silverhawks themselves, were done in vac metal. And basically, metal is attached to the plastic, and the plastic that has to be used over time definitely disintegrates, and the vac metal chips off. And so it's very hard to get figures that aren't 100% on card to work and look as good as these guys do. And so I lucked out. I found a collector that was selling them. He gave me a good deal on the lot. So I was able to pick up Quicksilver and Tallyhawk. So I got Quicksilver and his bird. I was able to pick up Copper Kid and Mayday. Working. Really good paint job with his wings. Clips are attached. Mayday still works. I don't know if I'm going to put a toy in my mouth these days, though. I'll be honest with you. We got Buzzsaw with his shredding bird, which is a really cool feature. We got Mumbo Jumbo with full action features working. I was actually afraid because when I first got him, he was like this, and I couldn't get the legs to squeeze. And I, as Junior says, it freaks him out every time. I just go for it, and I just squeezed until it popped. You may insert your own joke there. And, he came with his bird as well. I'll admit, I don't remember all the names. I had to look them up. I know Sky Shadows with Monstar, and Mumbo Jumbo's is Airshock. Sorry. It's kind of one of those things where Silverhawks kind of came out and then went away. So if you weren't like engaged actively in continuing and perpetuating the Silverhawk idea, things kind of went away. And I wasn't nearly obsessed with Silverhawks as much as I was with other lines. So Silverhawks held a really special place in my heart. I loved Flashback and Hot Wing. They were actually my favorites over Quicksilver and Copper Kid, and Steel Will and Steel Heart. Oh, I didn't show you Monstar. So we got Sky Shadow, hit Monstar's bat-like creature, and Monstar does actually, if I can get him, we've got, which didn't make any sense because he didn't look armored like that when he had that head, but they did it anyway. And they flip it around and you get the Monstar. His plastic is different. It's very gummy here. So it's going to be really hard to kind of keep it in good condition because it's very sticky and tacky. And because it's kind of like, it's almost like soft rubber. Kind of like the tails from the Jurassic Park figures, dinosaurs. So it's going to be tricky keeping him in good condition because his lower legs and arms have that kind of tacky material. But they're all in great shape. Like, they're fantastic shape. I don't think I spent more than $250 on all of these guys, which is one of those things when you think about it. Like, somebody offered me Steel Heart, and it was like $350, like carded, brand new, and a loose one for like $250. And so, I don't usually assign values to these things, but it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, yeah, you have to pay that upcharge because otherwise you're going to get a Quicksilver that has like no silver on him at all. And so I really loved this line growing up, and it kind of fell off. It didn't stay in my head. It didn't stay there. I'm excited to see what Super 7 is doing with them. I know they're not going to have action features, but I'm excited. The other thing is Jackson's over here hacking up a lung. He wants to be here. He doesn't want to be here. He wants to be here, but he doesn't want the door shut. It's a whole story. He's very needy. It's okay. It's also one of the first times I remember having to hide something. I got Steelheart because I wanted Steel Will and brother and sister. But growing up, female action figures, with the exception of Tila, for whatever reason, I think because the name was closer to Tita, which was my aunt. So my dad didn't have a problem with it, but my dad had a real problem with me playing with any action figures that were girls. And so I had to hide Steel Heart from him. And I remember one time she was under the couch and I pulled her out thinking it was Steel Will, and Dad saw it. And I had to beg him not to throw her out. And I had to explain she's part of a pack. She's part of a pair. She's part of a team. And I can't get rid of her because I've got her brother. And so I have to have her. But I had to promise that I wouldn't play with her. And she would just stay on a shelf or she'd stay in a box somewhere. But, you know, it's one of those memories of growing up in the 80s where, you know, guys weren't allowed to play with female action figures. And it's why they short packed the females too. Because they didn't think boys would want them. But we wanted them. We wanted all of them. And we wanted them to work, and we wanted them in good shape, and it's just one of those things. So I love them. I would love a complete collection of the original 80s ones. I don't know if I can afford it, to be honest with you, because they have gotten so exorbitantly valuable, and I would open them all. Like, I might keep one carded, to be honest with you, but everything else is going to get opened. But I'm excited to have these. I'm excited to take some pictures with these and do a gallery for you guys. But I'm also excited to put these next to the Super 7 ones at some point, which is also why, like, I tracked down Monstar and Quicksilver and Buzzsaw, and I try to get Steelheart, but I couldn't rationalize the $300 for her. I couldn't do it yet being the operative word. Someday I will have them. And maybe someday I'll just look out like I did with Copper Kid and Quicksilver. So go to castorscorner.com for a full gallery of these guys. We'll do close-up shots. We'll do turnarounds. You get the action features here. They look so cool when they do that. And that sound is just, it's magical. It's like the thing that, like, dreams are made of. And I know everybody out there right now that collects these is cringing because I keep doing that, but, like, if I'm not gonna play with my toys, what's the point of having them? They're magic. They should be played with. So check out a full gallery on castorscorner.com. Check out our shirts, stickers, and stuff on T Public. I think that's it. I'm still learning. It's brand new. Check us. We are at Kastor's Corner on all social media. Check out the Cornercast podcast every Monday night. up on Apple Podcasts. You should subscribe to that and subscribe to this channel. The more of you that subscribe, the more cool things we get to do, and then we get to share them with you. Thank you for joining us for another beginnings video here on Kastor'sCorner.com. And we'll see you tomorrow for another one that kind of dives more into the 80s. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.